This man has so little understanding of tariffs, he thinks that China pays for them. This is the same guy who also thought that Mexico would pay for the wall. Now, he has this crazy notion that putting a tariff of 60% on every single product imported from China is a good idea.
Did you know that 100% of people who think tariffs are free money also believe that the Tooth Fairy runs the Federal Reserve? Okay, we made that up, but the real stats aren't much better. Mark Cuban's got the numbers, and they're scarier than Trump's search history. We're talking job losses, price hikes, and an economy heading south faster than a snowbird in October. Stick around for the math that'll make your head spin and your wallet weep. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video.
But I don't know what happened to him. The way he's been thinking about tariffs and trade now, something's a little bit lost. And now his trade policies, back in the 90s and the early 2000s, he was a little bit coherent when he talked about trade policy. And he actually made a little bit of sense. If Donald Trump is elected and he puts these 60% tariffs on Chinese products, they are all going up. All those things you buy are going up.
Here we have it. Trump believes that if he throws money out the window, it will magically become gold. With tariffs, he is essentially doing that. He's like a real-life Monopoly player, only with other people's money. Tariffs then are what? They are essentially a cover charge for goods that are imported. When the price of admission to that hip club goes up, for example, the only difference is that the club here is the American market and we're all in this together.
Now he has this crazy notion that putting a tariff of 60% on every single product imported from China is a good idea. It'll be up so much you won't be able to afford the presents that you want for your family and friends. That's how bad the tariffs he wants. Donald Trump is that Grinch, the Grinch that wants to steal your Christmas.
Things start to get complicated now. Tariffs have a greater tendency to backfire than any Trump tweet. The very people they set out to aid wind up being harmed by them. Applying gasoline to a fire only makes the situation worse. Consider this Pennsylvania-based manufacturer, for instance. Tariffs were supposed to be their lucky charm. The unexpected consequence was a spike in material prices. Keeping the lights on has become a challenge for them. Trump made a steak dinner promise, but delivered a knuckle sandwich instead. However, large corporations aren't the only ones suffering. Everyday items can become more expensive for everyone due to tariffs. You know that fancy new iPhone? Just now, the price jumped. Those fashionable shoes? You should be ready to pay out other money. A Trump tax seems to be imposed on all of our purchases by Trump.
If Donald Trump is elected and he puts these 60% tariffs on Chinese products, they are all going up. All those things you buy are going up. And this time next year, you're going to be making decisions on the Christmas presents you want to buy for family and friends, won't you? People just don't realize how many of the products that we use on a daily basis are made in China. It's a lot.
This, my friends, is merely scratching the surface. More important than Trump's pride could be the potential economic fallout. Possible economic instability, trade wars, and the loss of jobs are on the table. The way Trump is handling the economy is like a game of Jenga, and everyone is waiting for the tower to fall. The worst part is that tariffs aren't a nativity that other nations can tap into. We, the American consumers, are effectively taxed by them. Trump seems to be taking money from us and claiming it as a victory. Now for the million-dollar question, why are some people praising tariffs as if they were a miraculous development? Please remain, everyone. This tariff mystery is going to be solved before Trump can say fake news.
Tariffs also have another side. Isn't that something that you have to acknowledge?
No.
You could be plunging America into the biggest trade war since Smoot-Hawley.
But there are no tariffs.
You're going to stop.
Of the companies that we have here and the new companies that will move in, because we're going to have thousands of companies coming into this country. We're going to grow it like it's never grown before.
You look at the American economy, 40 million jobs rely on trade. It accounts for 27% of GDP.
Okay.
If you cut that off, that's also going to have an effect on many, many business people here.
Do you recall the million-dollar question regarding the reasons why tariffs are so beloved? As it turns out, the foundation is a misunderstanding that transcends Trump's ego. Picture this: you're getting what seems like free money, but it turns out you've been stealing from yourself. That sums up the tariff situation. Let me get this straight. A large portion of Trump's base believes that tariffs will magically bring in money from other countries. When we impose tariffs on Chinese goods, it's as if they think we're handing a large sum of money to the United States. Just so you know, that's not how things work. The truth? The bill is being paid by us. It's as if Trump is hosting a lavish party, claiming it's free for everyone, but secretly charging our credit cards. Mark Cuban, too? None of it is going down with him. His blunt assessment of Trump's tariff policy is reminiscent of setting your own house on fire and calling it a barbecue. Oh no, Trump's well-done steak with ketchup must have burned more than that. But now things start to get interesting. The smell of burnt economics is beginning to wake up some Trump supporters. Tariffs are hitting their pockets like a heavyweight boxer, and they're starting to realize it. Imagine their disappointment when they realize their team has been kicking the ball into their own goal the entire time, despite their cheers for them to score.
We got hundreds of billions of dollars just from China alone, and I hadn't even started yet.
Now, let me just ask you a question. Do you all know anybody who doesn't know how tariffs work? All right, I'll give you a hint. That other guy.
Cuban is being very forthright. On Econ 101, he is educating people using his billionaire platform, and people are paying attention. It's as if he were a substitute teacher who, for once, brought logic to mathematics. More and more Trump backers are beginning to see the light, which might cause a political storm more colossal than Trump's hairdo. In light of this, what is Trump's economic strategy going forward? The stability of it is being compared to that of a Jenga tower during an earthquake. Trump may find his base of support dwindling at a rate comparable to that of a cold shower, as more people come to the realization that they have been duped by the tariff. Finally, the tariff story is more about who can sell a better story than it is about economics. At this very moment, Trump's fairy tale is being completely debunked by Cuban's truth bomb. Keep watching, everyone. I guarantee you that the next episode of this economic soap opera will be one that you will not want to miss. Let me get this straight, folks. The whole tariff issue isn't merely about dry economics. It all comes down to whose information we are receiving. In contrast to Trump's rapid-fire fabrication of fairy tales, Mark Cuban is out here delivering bombs of truth. Here's an outlandish suggestion. Perhaps we ought to begin independently verifying these economic assertions, irrespective of their origin. Listen, I get it. Reading financial reports is about as exciting as watching paint dry. Believe me when I say it's preferable than being treated like a cheap fiddle. The real question is, who wins the showdown of the billionaires? Watch out, because we ordinary people aren't it. As Trump and Cuban fight it out, we end up footing the price. Seeing those two wealthy men bicker about who will pay for dinner while we're left to do the dishes is like being a fly on the wall. Get ready for a wild ride on the economic roller coaster, my darling.